guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing part 2 of reading and reacting to subscribers' scary stories that you guys submitted on sarahah. Keep on submitting them. Like I said, I will do several more. If you guys want to make this like a normal thing, I can do that too. I know it's just supposed to be a Halloween kind of thing, but I didn't get them all out in time and I didn't want them to go to waste. Thank you to everyone who submitted. You guys are so awesome and you guys continue to submit, and I'm just like amazed by how many messages I get every single day. So thank you for that. And before I get into this, I just wanted to address something, and it's not a big serious thing at all, but in my last reading subscribers' scary stories video, I made a comment about how my friend who's had ghost experience was telling me about the white and dark figures, and people took that as, I don't know, that I was saying something racist or something like that. It was just a little ridiculous that someone even connected that to that. But I apologize if it came off that way. I think anyone who knows me knows that I wouldn't say something like that if I thought it was going to be racist. Again, I'm not an expert. I was just saying that from what I've heard, and I didn't mean it to be racist at all. It's not a race thing. It was about ghosts. So, yeah. It's ridiculous I even have to address something like that, but there were several comments about it. So I just thought I'd come on here and talk to you guys about it. But anyway, enough with that, let's just get started. One Saturday night around midnight, I was sitting on my bed in my room reading fan fiction and texting my friends while my mom and my dog were at my neighbor's house, so I was home all alone. I don't live with my father, by the way. I was getting hungry, so I was about to open my door to leave my room to get food when I heard a door downstairs slam. I heard a man whispering something. I then heard the sound of a person tripping and men talking. I was terrified and I froze immediately. I called my mom and she said she was still at the neighbor's house. I peeked outside and saw a 10-foot tall shadow of a man, and I couldn't sleep all night. I would have moved. When I was younger, I used to hear ghosts. I was told that sometimes I would tell my dad, "You'll die first," IDKY, and he'd be pretty freaked out. In my grandma's bathroom, I would hear a woman, probably around 19 to 24 years old, just whisper my name outside the shower curtain. The shampoo bottle would drop, the brush on the shelf would fall, and the toilet seat sometimes fell too. Later, I found out that my grandma sometimes saw a woman in her bedroom, walking around then leaving her room, only to return the next night. So this happened one time when I was at home alone. Whenever I'm alone in my house, I always lock the door, without fail. I was just sitting upstairs in my room when I heard the front door open and someone walk in. I wasn't completely sure I was hearing it right, and I was really creeped out. So I went downstairs to see what it was, and I saw that my front door was wide open. I know for a fact that day that I had locked it, because it took me a minute or two once I entered to remember to lock it, and I had already checked it like twice. I'm not sure if someone had broken or not, but no windows are smashed, and you can't open the door from the outside without a key when it's locked. Is there a conclusion to the story? I need to know if there's a conclusion. That is so freaky. This reminded me of something that happened to me, and again, it wasn't that freaky because it had to do with kids. I was home alone one day. Everyone in my family was out somewhere, and I was just sitting in my bedroom, and I guess the front door wasn't locked, which was, I guess, my fault or whoever left last's fault. But all of a sudden, I hear the front door open and footsteps, and then I hear like little kids screaming, laughing, and running away. So I look out my window, and it's like this group of stupid little idiot kids who live in my neighborhood, and I don't know exactly where they live, or else I'd be like, "Hi, your kid just literally came into my house." And I know it's not as scary because it was a little kid, but it's still like, there's a difference between ding-dong ditching, which I still think is ridiculous, but literally opening someone's door and walking into their house, it was so freaky. It's just like, there's some boundaries that can't be crossed here, even if you're a little stupid kid doing a prank. Once within the last 2 years, my brother and I were home alone. I was getting fruit from my kitchen. I all of a sudden felt like I was being watched. Then I started to randomly panic and felt I needed to run to my brother's room. I came out of the kitchen as I slowly made my way to my brother's room. I was up against walls and felt sick. I was looking around everywhere like crazy, crying for no reason and breathing heavily. I was at a high level of panic. I also felt like I was being chased or followed. I never had that sense of panic before or ever have since. I know there was something in my house trying to scare me. I know it just wasn't some kind of panic attack. I was in a hurricane back when I was 4. The biggest tree in my backyard fell, and my dad went outside to clean it up. While he was outside, another tree fell, just barely missing him. My mom yelled at him to get back inside before another tree fell. It was so scary to see my dad almost get hit by a tree. Later, we learned a few people actually died in my area, and it was one of the worst natural disasters to ever hit my state. I'm very thankful everyone in my family stayed safe. I will never forget this scary experience. That's really scary, and I'm so glad your dad's okay. When I was a lot younger, I lived in Orlando. I lived in Orlando a couple years, but one of those was the year that like 3 awful, destructive hurricanes came in a row. And I think it was like 2004, 2006, whatever. And someone in my family had the brilliant idea to go bike riding before one of the hurricanes hit. And keep in mind, I was a very little girl, and I have no idea why we did this because this was like over 13 years ago. So we're riding, and it's super windy, and all of a sudden, I think my sister and I are in the back, and right after we passed a certain house, this huge palm tree fell right down behind us. It was so scary, and we're like, okay, everyone get home right now so a tree doesn't fall on us. It was around midnight when I finished my homework and got into bed. I turned off my nightlight and fell asleep. After a few hours, not sure exactly what time, but I suddenly woke up to see my window open. The noises started creeping me out, but what was even worse is that I make sure to close them every night so that I don't get cold. I was also the only person in the house. When I peeped out of my blanket, I saw a very dark spot on my wall. When I woke up in the morning, it wasn't there, though my window was still open. I still don't know what it was to this day. I don't know if you guys know who I think it's Mr. Nightmare is. He has a YouTube channel and he reads people's scary experiences, and I think he gets some things off of Reddit and like just different things. He has a really cool freaky channel. You guys should check it out. But I used to watch his videos all the time, and I remember distinctly one story, and I'm not sure if it's real. I think it is. He tries to tell real stories, but basically this guy would leave his window open when he fell asleep, and he'd have a chair kind of near the end of his bed, and he'd always put his hat on it. And he kept waking up one night in the middle of the night, and something was waking him up, and he kept looking at the hat, and he had to keep reminding himself, that's not a person, like that's my hat. It's all good, go back to sleep. And he woke up several times through the night just looking at it and having to remind himself that it's just his hat. So when he woke up in the morning, he looked down and his hat was right next to his bed. So basically someone creeped in and was sitting there watching the guy sleep, and he thought it was his baseball cap the whole time. And that makes me paranoid, and I will never sleep with my windows open just because I'm so freaked out by that story. So a very creepy thing that recently happened to me when I was on a summer camp with my friend. One morning I woke up, and my friend told me that it really freaked her out last night. I didn't know what she was talking about, so I asked her, and she told me that about 3 a.m., devil's hour, I stood up from my bed, woke her up, and then walked to the window and looked outside for a couple of seconds. Then I opened the window and went back to sleep. I know it's normal to sleepwalk, but I was extremely terrified when she told me that. After about 2 months, I was at my friend's birthday party, and my friends started sleep talking at the same time. So my first friend Sophie said, "OMG, this is such a nice place, I love this." Then my other friend Emma said, "Sophie, shut up." I asked them what they were talking about, but none of them replied. My 2 other friends were fast asleep, and I tried to wake the friend sleeping next to me, but she just wouldn't. Then, since my friend had a glass door in her room, I saw that the lights in the corridor suddenly turned on, and I was super freaked out. I checked my phone, it was about 3:20 a.m. I was really freaked out, and when I asked my friends in the morning about the sleep talking part, they said they didn't say anything. I was scared for life. When I was little, I lived with my grandparents because my mom couldn't afford a house, and my dad was in prison. Houses like this in Alabama were built in the 1910s. I woke up one night at about midnight to the sound of 20-ish era music, and as you know, 20s music has its own sound to it, I suppose you could say. I could tell it wasn't from this era, and my grandparents weren't the type of people to stay up, so I opened my door and stepped into the hall. As I turned my head, I saw a dark figure dancing in the dining room doorway facing away from me, but it didn't see me. As I moved, the floor creaked like it always did, and it turned and saw me. I got so scared, so I ran back to my room. I slammed and locked my door only to be woken up by my grandmother, who has insomnia, at 4 a.m. asking me if I was up listening to music earlier, and that I woke her up. They didn't believe me that I didn't do it, and I got grounded for it. And to this day, I still can't sleep in her house. It's too much for me. I don't know how anyone can't believe in ghosts, because this stuff is crazy. And it's not like, people can't just like make this stuff up. Like, where would you pull that out of? It's crazy. Okay, this one, I almost feel like I'm being trolled because it's so freaky and just so random. But I trust you guys, so I'm going to tell the story, and I hope I don't get like gypped or something, because this is like really freaky and bizarre. So anyway, this is the story of the giant panda. So it all starts about 2 weeks before last Christmas. Me and my family were going Christmas shopping, and as I passed a store, I saw a giant panda stuffed animal, and it was only $10. I wanted it so bad. So on Christmas Day, I ended up getting it. Fast forward to last summer, my panda started moving around my room, and I kept ignoring it because I thought I was just paranoid. When I looked at it from the corner of my eye, it was looking at me, and as I moved around my room looking at it, its eyes followed me. So I went up to the panda and looked deeply into its eyes. Then, for some strange reason, my eyes started burning a lot to where I wanted to cry. Then came my birthday. My friend came over and I went to the bathroom, then I heard her scream. She said one of my stuffed animals moved. Frantic, I asked which one. She pointed at my panda bear. Then, come last week, I woke up and my panda bear's arms were touching my bed. I screamed and ran out. My final straw was last night. I was watching you reacting to subscriber scary stories videos, then my panda sat up and faced me. I started crying. Not knowing what to do, I grabbed it and threw it out of my room. It is still there now. I'm trying to find a paranormal expert to take a look at it and hopefully keep it. True story. Don't buy a panda bear at Justice. I have heard instances like where ghosts or whatever take the shape of inanimate objects, and I don't know, that's just like such a bizarre story. It's insane, but if it's true, we're gonna need an update. I need you to come forward and tell me an update. Anyway, guys, that's it for this time. Thank you so much for watching. Again, continue to submit them. I will leave my sarahah link below. And also continue to submit embarrassing stories because I will read those too. I might have to end up making 2 different sarahah accounts because there are so many messages. So I might have one for embarrassing stories and one for scary stories, but we'll just take that as we go. Again, I will be doing another one, so keep on submitting them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!